One of my favorite mods to do to almost any vehicle is the exhaust. Now today we're going to be checking out the MagnaFlow Street Series axle back for the 21 and up Ford Bronco, and we're even going to show you how to install it. This is the MagnaFlow Street Series axle back for the 2.3 liter 21 and up Ford Bronco. Now don't worry if you have a 2.7 liter, you can also purchase this exact same axle back system for that as well. Now first things first, this exhaust is going to come in this black coating here, which seems pretty thick, so it should be pretty durable too. Now you can purchase this exhaust in a stainless steel option as well if you're not a fan of the black coating. But on to the important information, this is going to be a stainless steel 2.5 inch tubing to a 4-inch tip. And from what MagnaFlow says, this will be a straight through muffler, so it should give us a pretty aggressive tone without the raspiness a lot of other exhaust systems have. Also, something to keep in mind, since this is a straight through muffler, this is going to be the best for flow. So we aren't only going to get a good sound out of it, but we should be able to get some small performance gains out of it as well too. Now another thing to mention, this is going to be a direct bolt-on part. There's going to be no permanent modifications that we have to do to be able to install this. So if you want to ever go back to your stock muffler setup, you totally can. Now let's get the Bronco up in the air, get this factory exhaust off, get our new MagnaFlow exhaust system on, and see how it sounds. Before we jump into today's install, if you have any questions about the tools that we're using, check out cjponyparts.com/tools or click the link in the corner of the video for a free video and PDF file showing you what tools you should have and how to use them properly and safely. As far as removing and installing a muffler on a 21 and up Ford Bronco goes, it's pretty easy. First thing that we're going to do is loosen up this exhaust clamp here, and then we'll take it out of the hangers, and then we should be able to remove the factory exhaust from there and install our new one. You don't have to remove the nut all the way, just loosen it up so that the clamp is loose and we can get the muffler out. I'm just spraying some silicone lubricant on the hangers here, and that way it's a little bit easier to get the hanger out of the rubber. Now we're going to remove the factory muffler from the exhaust hangers. And since we sprayed that, it makes it really nice and easy. Now with both hangers removed, you can remove the factory muffler. Now you can keep wiggling it out, or sometimes you can use a rubber mallet on the other side to be able to get it out of the clamp there. Before we go ahead and put the new MagnaFlow axle back on, I just want to point this out. This is the factory exhaust clamp. You're going to want to go ahead and leave this here, and we'll actually reuse this for our MagnaFlow axle back. As far as putting this MagnaFlow axle back in, I'm going to connect it to the hangers first. And as you can see, I put some blue painter's tape around the top of the tips, and that's so I don't scratch them on our ARB bumper when putting this on. Okay, so I don't know if you guys could tell how much I struggled a little bit there with getting this axle back on, and it's not the axle back's fault. I'm gonna blame this one on me. So my original plan was to get them both in the hangers and then connect the axle back to the exhaust piping. What I actually found to be easier along the way is if you get the driver's side hanger in first and then work on getting the exhaust in the piping a little bit, you'll be able to get the passenger side hanger on a lot easier. So again, just work on the driver's side hanger first, get the exhaust in the piping a little bit, and then put on your passenger side exhaust hanger and you'll be all set. Now the only thing we have to do is get this axle back a little bit more into the piping, tighten up this exhaust clamp, and then we'll check it out a little bit more after that. Before we put the Bronco back on the ground so we can let all of you hear what this axle back sounds like, I gotta point out a couple of things on this exhaust system because I'm pretty hyped on them. Now first things first, this black coating on the axle back itself is super nice. With it being black, it almost just tucks it away and hides it, so that way you don't really see it. Now another thing about being tucked away, this thing is tucked up pretty close against the body of the Bronco, so I can't ever see this actually getting in the way if you're going out on the trails and wheeling. Now another thing to point out about it being tucked up is even though that the exhaust system is tucked up and close to the Bronco, the tips actually still come out to the end of the bumper here, which are nice because it gives it a really good sporty look to it. Now let's go ahead and get the Bronco back on the ground so we can see how the MagnaFlow Street Series Axleback really sounds. Well, we're all wrapped up with the install, and I gotta say that was a pretty easy install. It only took maybe 30 or 40 minutes. I didn't throw any tools across the shop or yell at our Bronco, so it was a win in my book. Now, as far as this exhaust goes, I gotta say I'm pretty much in love with it. It's not too loud, it's not too quiet, and has a pretty aggressive tone to it. And the best part is it's tucked up and out of the way, so we shouldn't have any problems with it interfering while we're wheeling on some trails. Now, if you'd like to purchase one of these, you can go to cjponyparts.com and get yours today. Now it is time to drop a gear and disappear. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, if you need any off-road parts, just click the link down below in our description.